Hello everyone. This is going to be the second installment of my special sort of topics videos for 2020, and this is a deep dive into the Pluto-Saturn conjunction that's occurring on the 12th of January 2020. And this is actually the same information that I have in my January 2020 video. If you want to just, and so I'm putting it separately as part 2, because just in case you want to just listen to this part, you don't have to listen to the whole video of January. So it is a repeat of what I've already put up. So I'm just letting you know that. So I hope you enjoy it, and I will see you soon. Bye. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the decade. And that's the Saturn-Pluto conjunction of 2020. So the Saturn-Pluto conjunction is occurring on the 12th of January, and it occurs at 11:59 and 24 minutes a.m. On the east coast of the U.S., meaning that it is happening when those planets, it's noon, and so it's like it's where when the sun is the highest. And so this is the chart, and I did this chart for Washington, D.C. You can do a chart for wherever you live, but I think it's pretty important that we look at this chart for a number of reasons. And we're going to really dig into this chart to get some clues. The first clue I want to talk about is the vibration here. The vibration of the day, and I have it written here, but I don't think you can see it, so I'm just gonna do it in a pen where I think you can see it. So we have it. It's on the 12th, and it's and of course it's the 4-year vibration, and when you add that together, we get the 17/8 vibration. 17/8 vibration is the star card in the deck. Okay, now Pluto-Saturn is pretty serious conjunction. When Pluto and Saturn have made conjunctions in the past, there has been a shift and change in the structure of power. And so in America in 1982, it was pretty much the beginning of the sort of Republican neocon, the Reagan presidency, even though I think Bush might have been in office in 82. I'm sorry, I don't know that. I'm lucky I know what day it is, quite frankly. And so now we're at the end of that cycle. And it's interesting that we find the Republican president impeached. And what's something else, another interesting thing, the Democratic Party, the birthday of the Democratic Party is January 8th, I believe. And so this conjunction is happening on the sun of the Democratic Party. So, all right. So let's get back to digging in. So we have the 17/8 vibration, and I want to pull that card. This is very significant. Now, this little part that I'm doing here will be part 2 of my my 2020 stuff. So if you want to look at that, this is going to be the same video. I figured I would just do, instead of repeating myself. And I'm looking for the star, and I can't find it. I can't find my guiding star. So 17/8 is the star, and it is about, I must have passed it right up in the beginning. It is about finding your guiding star. It's a card associated with Aquarius, okay? And as far as, is there anything in Aquarius? Well, why, yes, there is. We have Venus all by herself here in Aquarius at 2842 of Aquarius. What's interesting about that is that in the Sibley chart, the moon is at 27 degrees of Aquarius, or 28 degrees of Aquarius. And so here we have Venus. So Venus in this chart is conjunct the moon of the Sibley chart of the United States. Interesting little factoid. The degree that Pluto and Saturn come together, in this case in the 10th house, if this is a mundane chart, the 10th house is the house of the presidency. And so this could be being held accountable and being held responsible. And let's read the Sabian symbol for this degree. The 23rd degree, it says a soldier receiving 2 awards for bravery in combat. Okay. The rewards offered by society for the fulfillment of individual responsibility. So this particular vibration, or this particular theme, or picture, is about being responsible and how you're going to be okay, sorry, I had to pause that. My husband came down. He brought me water, but he's so good. He didn't know. Well, he knows psychically. He knows. Okay, so we have this happening in the 10th house. But if you look here, and the first house cusp, for this chart, the first house cusp is 1 degree 29 minutes, and there we have Uranus sitting there right in the first house, as well as Vesta sitting there in the first house. Uranus is conjunct the ascendant of this chart, and of course, first house is in Taurus is concerned about resources. Okay, resources. So that's important as well. What else did I want to say about this chart? There's a couple of very interesting things happening. There actually is a yod in this chart to the moon. The moon is at 17 degrees of Leo. See that in the 4th house. And we have Neptune making an inconjunct to the moon, and the MC of this chart making an inconjunct to the moon. So this is the moon in a chart is the people. Okay, so this is going to cause adjustments to be made that have to be made by the people. All right, let's see what else I want to say about this this chart. This particular conjunction is occurring in the 3rd decan of Capricorn. The 3rd decan of Capricorn is ruled by the sign of Virgo. There's also another is ruled by Virgo, so it's also ruled by Mercury, because Mercury rules Virgo. And Mercury in the chart is conjunct this. So all of this is conjunct together. Okay. Ceres, interestingly enough, here in the middle of the mix, Ceres is the goddess of the grain, agriculture, and such. But she is she's a symbol of the scythe. Scythe, I think I say that wrong all the time. Sorry, guys. The scythe, and she's the reaper, right? You reap the grain. All your work, and the grain comes down, and then it goes on the threshing floor. So there's this symbol of something getting cut down at this time, to be sort of like put on the threshing floor and threshed. Threshing means they mash it so that they can separate what's good from what's bad, and so what is useful and what is dross. And so this is the process of this that's also sort of in this Saturn Pluto conjunction. And because we're working, all of this Capricorn energy is on the side of the South Node. This also indicates that while this is a new beginning, there is some things that still need to be let go of. There are still things that need to be discerned, because we're dealing with Virgo decade, um, that's a very Virgo thing, right? The putting the scythe, and then you put it on the threshing floor and you thresh it. That's what Virgo does. Virgo decides what's of use and what's not of use. And then the other interesting thing is that it's every 2.5 degrees in a sign is part of something called a Dwad. Now there's a much longer name, and it's from um, Hindu astrology. So I'm not going to say it because I don't know how to say it. I've always called it a Dwad. But it happens that the Dwad, okay, of this degree of Capricorn is also Virgo. And so while we have all this Capricorn energy, we also have Aquarius vibrationally from the numbers. And if we look deeper into the degree that this is in, we're looking at Virgo. And so Virgo is really about making things work better. Virgo is really about looking at things and saying, this works, this doesn't work, let's throw it out, let's redo it, let's do this. And then, of course, with Aquarius and the star vibration, the star card vibration, it really is about making the world a better place for everyone, sort of leveling out the playing field. This is, for Capricorn, this is actually a very progressive sort of under energy here. And so it really is about building a better future, um, and doing it in a responsible way. Okay. And so as we move through this month, as we move through this year, and as we move through this decade, you have to ask yourself, is this something that's going to be able to sustain itself? Is this something that can sustain me? Is this something that is in harmony with the world around me? Is this going to help everyone or just a select few? These are the questions. And it's very interesting that a conjunction in Capricorn, you would think about those things, but it's not. Capricorn can be um, that sort of patriarchal, hierarchical structure, but it's also a very spiritual sign. That's just the very sort of nuts and bolts Capricorn. We're going to build upon this and we're going to oppress. But there's another side to Capricorn. Capricorn as an energy is the redeemer. It's the energy of the redeemer. It is, as the ruler in a natural chart of the 10th house, it's the way up and out of the body. That's why Jesus, they put his birthday in Capricorn, because he is the Redeemer God, right? He's one of the Redeemer gods. He's actually Pisces, okay, and he's got a lot of Pisces in his chart. Maybe someday we'll take a look at that chart. Okay, so there's that. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to look at very deeply in this chart. I wanted to go as deep as we could. Of course, this conjunction is also square Juno in Libra, and so again, how are we going to relate? How are we going to get along? How can we build the future if we can't even agree on what the problem is? Right? We're so far apart. That is going to change, and that is part of the process of 2020. Is the people who refuse to get out of their corners are going to have to start coming a little bit closer in, and we're going to have to start, and what's going to create that is crisis, whether it's financial crisis or it's earth change crisis. Whatever it is, it's going to be crisis, and we're going to have to come at some point and sit at the table. A lot of the tumult and the crisis is happening. Things probably aren't really going to start moving until 2021. Once the whole, the United States decides who their president is going to be. 2021 is a little bit more about sort of moving in the right direction, assuming that we can get 2020. We, as humans, we have free will, so you can decide to go with the energies and make things easier on yourself, or you can dig your heels in and make things harder on yourself. And so even in your own life, where are you digging in your heels, where you know you need to let go? That's part of the process here. Okay. All right, let me just see if there's anything else I want to mention about this. Okay. Also on that day, on the day of this conjunction, we have Mercury making a conjunction to Saturn and Mercury making a conjunction to Pluto. And so Mercury-Saturn synodic cycle is how do we structure our reality mentally? And then Pluto and Mercury, the start of the synodic cycle is the soul, the world soul. Pluto in Capricorn is seeding Mercury, and it is a process of the transformation of how we think. So there's a simultaneous process going on. All right, and both of those processes come to their halfway point. Okay, in August, so the halfway point between a conjunction. So from conjunction, the halfway point is the opposition, and then you come around to the conjunction again. So it's at the opposition when we become aware of what was seated at that place, and and we have this opposition on. Let's see. So the first one is the first of August 2020. We have Mercury making an opposition to Pluto. It's occurring at 24 degrees of Mercury in Cancer, 24 degrees of Pluto in Capricorn. And the vibration for that day is a 13-4, which is the death card. So the death card is about letting go. And so we will become aware of what ideas perhaps that we need to let go of. What has to change? What has to change? Okay. And then we also have the opposition of Saturn and Mercury. And that occurs on the um, 3rd of August, and the vibration on that day is the 15-6 vibration, which of course is the devil card, right? But it's the Capricorn card, so it's about responsibility. And so we will be illuminated to perhaps who's responsible. Of course, we know we're responsible for ourselves, but we'll see what happens, right? Okay, so that's what I want to say about the Pluto Saturn conjunction. I'm probably going to say more at some point, but that's where we're going to stop on that. And then the next thing I'm going to talk about is what else is happening um, in January. I realize that this is going to be long, so apologies right up front. Okay, I'll be right back.